And it has changed his life as well as the customers. The sense of community that he gets, as stores like this get, a sense that you belong there and that there's something positive. It's not just a crass commercial transaction. And he says it's a matter of aligning your work with your values. And people are doing that all across this country. It's very, very encouraging. We can wring our hands about what's going on at the national level, or we can join hands and create the kind of America that we want. Henry Ford said it years ago. What's right about America is that although we have a mess of problems, we have a great capacity, intellect, and resources to do something about them. Hear, hear. We can do something. We're not powerless. We're citizens of the United States of America. We actually have power. We have resources. We have, as Ford says, intellect. This is our job. This is not Obama's job. I know a lot of people are disappointed in Obama, and I'm one of them. But it's not his job to change America. It's not Congress's job. It's not the Democratic Party's job. It's yours and mine. In that book, we tell a story of a tourist in Bangkok who came out of the Great Temple in the glare of the sunlight. Over here was a monk, full regalia. The tourist signaled, "May I snap your picture?" The monk posed and nodded. He took the picture, and over here was a boy selling water. And he went over and bought a bottle of water for the monk. And he paid for it, but waited for his change, which was not forthcoming, so he assumed there was a language problem. So he kind of pointed at his palm and said, "Don't I get change?" And the boy looked over at the monk and looked back up at the tourist and said, "Change comes from within." And indeed it does. And indeed it is. Change is coming from the countryside. The fact that we're not getting the kind of change, the extensive change that we hope for at the national level yet, doesn't mean that's not coming, but it also doesn't mean that we're not getting change at the local level. We're making big changes in America, in every community in this country. Yet sadly, we've got too many of our progressive leaders, particularly those of national organizations based up in Washington, who are telling us, "Don't push Obama. Accept what we can get. Don't rock the boat. Be quiet." Be quiet? No. Only Thomas Paine. Since when do democracy-loving Americans cower in quietude? If you don't speak up when it matters, when would it ever matter that you're going to speak up? Mark Twain said it well, loyalty to the country always, loyalty to the government when it deserves it. It's a big different thing. And right now, our government, our Obama government, our Democratic government in Washington is not deserving, not earning that loyalty. So we cannot just be quiet. In fact, we've got to get quite noisy. We've been too quiet, too obedient, too deferential, too patient. We've got to get on them. Yes, we've got to back up Obama when he's right. He's right on a great number of things, by the way. But our bigger responsibility is to buck him up when he's wrong. Now, how do we do that? And that's the thrust of my little message to you here this evening. And I hope we'll generate a discussion, not so much here tonight, but following up on tonight. How do we do this? Well, by joining our plethora of progressive efforts into an actual movement. Not one big meeting, not a march on Washington, but an interrelated, cooperative, coordinated movement that might actually move. Wouldn't that be something? That's the notion of movement. It moves. It moves policy. It doesn't just elect supposedly good people. It changes policy in a progressive fashion. That's what we want. That's what we're after. We're not getting that. Now, we do not have to create this movement. It's already here in this room, in this community, in this state, all across this country. The components are there. We've got organizers, very brilliant. We've got trainers. We've got media, community radio, the independent weeklies, great bookstores like this, our public libraries, the internet, great media shows from Rachel Maddow and Keith Oberman on TV, Amy Goodman, and so many others on the radio. So we don't have to create the movement. We have all the issue groups are there on the environment, on labor, on food, local business, education, GLBT. I mean, any issue you want to talk about, we got it. It's there, but it's not connected. We're not connected. The right wing is totally, I mean, almost welded together. We're not connected. We're a series of compatible but separated issue groups that don't know each other and don't much work together, and particularly don't work for the kind of broad structural changes that benefit us all. And that's where I think we can forge a movement without giving up any autonomy over any of our groups and this and that and our issues and making one more important than another, but to look at those structural issues that actually change things. That's what the right wing's been doing for the last 30 years. We haven't figured it out. Changes that would benefit us all and make the whole of our efforts greater than the sum of its parts. Louis Grizzard, the late great Southern humorist, said something that we in the South have always known to be true, and that is that there's a great big difference between being naked and being naked. Naked means you have no clothes on. Naked, that means you have no clothes on and you are up to something. We've got to get naked. That's the next step for us. And I urge you to work on it here in Santa Fe and across New Mexico. Don't worry about it being a national movement. We have to affect the national as much as we can, but you can affect your local situation. You can affect New Mexico's situation. And I hope you will be meeting to discuss and invent ways to link people on this side of town who are doing this to people on that side of town who are doing that. We need to get to know each other and begin to support each other, know what they're doing, and understanding those values that unite us: economic fairness, social justice, equal opportunity for all people, focusing on those big structural changes that might benefit all progressive. Public financing of our elections, for example. We all gain from that. That's a big one. You can make it happen.